Ben Horowitz's journey is one of the most powerful reminders that success is rarely a straight path, and that behind every great entrepreneur is a story of grit, rejection, and perseverance. Because while today he is known as a billionaire investor, best-selling author, and co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most influential venture capital firms in Silicon Valley, his rise to the top was filled with struggles that nearly broke him, beginning in London, where he was born to immigrant parents, before moving to the United States, where he grew up under the influence of his father David Horowitz, a political writer. And from a young age, Ben was fascinated by technology. Yet despite his passion, he struggled in the early stages of life, facing doubts from people who questioned his abilities, setbacks in his career, and a series of rejections that tested his confidence. But what made Ben stand out was his refusal to quit, his ability to learn from failure and keep going no matter how heavy the obstacles became. And this mindset carried him into the world of Silicon Valley, where he would experience his first major trials. Because after studying computer science, he worked for several tech companies, climbing the ladder but never escaping the sting of constant doubt and the fear of failure. And soon, he found himself at a breaking point when the company he co-founded, Loudcloud, a cloud services business, launched at the height of the dot-com boom, faced disaster after the bubble burst, leaving him nearly bankrupt, forced to lay off hundreds of employees, and on the verge of losing everything he had built. And in those dark moments, it seemed as though all doors were closed and the dream was over. But Ben refused to accept defeat and instead turned failure into fuel, rebranding Loudcloud into Opsware, a software company focused on IT automation. A bold move that many thought was doomed. Yet through persistence, relentless hard work, and innovative thinking, he managed to turn the company around. And after years of struggle, sacrifice, and sleepless nights, Opsware was eventually acquired by Hewlett-Packard for $1.6 billion, a turning point that not only saved Ben, but transformed his career forever, giving him the credibility and resources to launch Andreessen Horowitz with Marc Andreessen. And what began as a bold experiment in venture capital became one of the most powerful forces in technology investment, backing companies like Facebook, Airbnb, Twitter, Coinbase, and countless others, shaping the modern tech landscape. And yet through all his triumphs, Ben never forgets the lessons of his failures, capturing them in his best-selling book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things, where he shares raw truths about leadership, resilience, and the reality that success is born in struggle. And his story proves that failure is not the opposite of success, but the very foundation of it. Because without the collapse of Loudcloud, there would be no Opsware. Without Opsware, there would be no Andreessen Horowitz. And without rejection, there would be no billion-dollar triumphs. And today, Ben Horowitz stands not just as an investor, but as a mentor and motivator to millions of entrepreneurs worldwide, showing them that even when you are at rock bottom and it feels like all hope is lost, persistence, courage, and vision can turn failure into fortune, making his life a shining example that no matter how many setbacks you face, if you refuse to quit, you can build an empire from the ashes of defeat and inspire generations to come.